Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Latham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Latham. Episode number 457 today, and we are going to be talking about WordPress security and security plugins. I will be talking specifically about the WPMU Dev WP Defender plugin. That's what I use on my sites. Well, I use Defender Pro. I'm going to talk about that one as well. But that's what I use on my sites. If people are hosted with me, that's just something that I add onto their sites as part of the fee to keep them safe, the Pro version, not the free version. I'm going to actually explain the differences between the two. I'm going to show you both. I'm going to explain the differences between the two. But before we start, what I really want to get through and make sure that it's really, really clear is that a security plugin is good. It will give you a degree of protection. It is not the only thing that you should be using to protect your website. If you have followed along on my podcast for any length of time, you'll know that when I speak about security, I say it's about layers. I say it's about all the different things that you can do that give you that 1% or that 2% protection, and they all add together to give you more than, it's not just the sum of the whole. It's greater than the sum of everything that you're doing. When we're talking security, what we're really trying to do, when we're talking security on a website specifically, but when we're talking about security in general, think about your home as well. We're trying to create a hard, crunchy outside. It's so hard and it's so crunchy that people can't get through it, or it's really, really, really difficult to get through. And even if they get through that outer layer, they then find a slightly less dense, slightly less crunchy inner, and then another inner, and then another inner. And then finally, as they start to get through, they get down into that soft, gooey center. That is the website itself. And that's the parts where you and I will be working when we're working on the site, and we don't want the security in our way. We don't want it tripping us up. So the closer you get to the nucleus, the softer it is, the more vulnerable it becomes. But we start to slow people down by making it harder to get through those hard, crunchy outsides. I hope that makes sense. I hope that analogy makes sense to you. And you'll notice that I said we slow people down. We will deter a lot of people by doing that, but we're not going to stop everyone. And well, we need to assume that we're not going to stop everyone. That's the first rule that we do with anything when it comes to security, is that there is the potential for someone to breach our security. Accept that is just the way it is. Okay. Enough of a rant on that, Charly. Let's move on and have a look at the plugin that I want to use. There are two versions of this. There is the free version, which is available in the WordPress repository. We're going to start with that, WP Defender. Then I'm going to do what I need to do to upgrade that to WP Defender Pro and show you what the extras are you get in it and why I think it's worthwhile investing to go up for it. Now, there are other plugins available. Other security plugins that are available. Like I said, I use Defender. I can speak to Defender. There are others that I have come across. There are others that I have used on client sites that I have. Some are good and some aren't. I don't want to say you can't use it. I don't want to say you shouldn't use it. What I do want to say, though, is make sure that whatever plugin you're using has a good reputation. The provider has a good reputation. Last week, a security plugin that was in the repository got hacked, and it allowed people access to the website. Now, why did it get hacked? I don't know. And it could have just been poor coding. It could have just been one of those things, but it wasn't a well-known plugin. It wasn't a well-known provider. And we're talking security. You don't want to leave your security to the whims of, we think this might be okay. Go with a reputable provider, please. Let's get into it and look at the plugin. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice again. Look at the plugins and what they can do for us. Okay, so this is my demo site. I've actually reset this site. So this is a brand new site, if I'm right. Yep, we've just down to our basic pages. There's no posts. So if you've been following the podcast before and seen that I've been doing things on this site, yep, I reset it so that we can just start from scratch and I'm not tripping over settings that are already in the database. So to install the plugin, I know I usually say I'm not going to show you how to install the plugin. Today I'm just going to go to plugins, install plugins, add a new plugin. In the repository, this is the repository, the library, if you like. In the search plugins bar, type WP Defender. And it will be the first one that comes up. We're just going to click install now. We're going to let it install. And we're going to click activate. Now you'll notice it says malware scanner, login security and firewall. And it's giving you the option here to upgrade for a discount. Of course it is. There will be a link, by the way, in the show notes. If you do want to upgrade, I do get a small commission for it. And I certainly would appreciate it if you'd use that link. It is by no means, of course, a requirement. Defender. So here we are, we're in Defender. We've got the ability to go to the dashboard and we've got the information here. So you don't always have to come back to the plugins menu to get to the dashboard. You'll see down in your menu on the left-hand side, we've got the Defender option. So let's go down to the Defender dashboard. When you first install Defender, it gives you the Let's Get Started window. And you're being asked here to help protect your site from malware and hackers, help us improve Defender, minimize errors and enhance by sharing anonymous and non-sensitive data. I'm going to leave that as unchecked. Honestly, I'm the type of person that I don't want to share data unless I know exactly what I'm sharing. So I leave these as turned off generally. You can click activate and configure. I would recommend we're going to go through this, but if you know what you're doing, you can just go start from scratch and go through that. But let's go through the install wizard, shall we? It's doing what it needs to do. It's enabling everything. Right. Now, activate anti-bot global firewall. Powered by traffic insights and threat data from a network of 500,000 websites, anti-bot blocks malicious IPs. This sounds great. You do need to connect your site. So if you say connect your site, you can create a free account or you can log in as an existing customer. Now, I am going to log into my free account. Okay, so I've connected the site now at last, and I'm logged into my free account. It doesn't show you here that I am, but it's saying activate anti-bot global firewall, giving me the option to activate it or remind me later. I'm going to click activate it. Okay, so that's done. And it's telling us here that audit logging and block list monitor are pro versions, but everything else is installed. So let's go have a look and see what the free version of Defender gives us, and then have a look at what we can do with it after this. So this is the dashboard, and you'll see here we've got one security issue. So the dashboard's quite useful. First of all, the tutorials, yes, you can have a look at these. I'm just going to get rid of them so that we can just do this video without the noise on the screen. The dashboard is really quite useful, but the summary at the top tells you that we've got one security issue we need to go and deal with. There are 10 of 12 security recommendations we need to deal with. there's an issue with the malware scan, which is probably the same as the security issue, and whether there was a lockout. Let's go have a look. So malware scanning, scan your site for file changes, vulnerabilities, injected code, and get notified for anything suspicious. So what this will do, what the malware scanning will do is, based on what your settings are, it will go through and it will have a look for changed code. Now with the Pro version, this is one reason why I think the Pro version is superior, is it will check for known vulnerabilities and suspicious code and tell you if something in your plugins or your themes looks a bit strange, or if there's been a report on a plugin or a theme that hasn't been fixed or needs an upgrade to fix it. So these two are really handy, but you don't get them with the base version. What you do get is file scanning. We will go through and have a look at that shortly. With the firewalls, you've got the local firewall and the anti-bot global firewall. You don't get access to the web application firewall. You don't need to have that. That will actually, you need to change your hosting to do that. So I don't even normally worry about it. Blocklist monitor is good. Blocklist monitor, when we get to it, will tell you, will check if you're on Google's block list every 6 hours. If something's wrong, it will send you an email to tell you there's something wrong. Security recommendations, I'm going to dig out into those in a moment. There are several security recommendations that WPMU Dev has come up with straight away. Audit logging is absolutely amazing. It doesn't come with the free version, but on the Pro version, you can look at who's been logged into your site, what changes they've made to your site, whether they've added content, deleted content, added comments, enabled plugins, disabled plugins. Like this audit logging has saved me a couple of times when one time we had someone doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, and I managed to use it to find out what they were doing and say, well, why are you doing it this way? And what happened was, it was training. They thought, well, that's how I do it. And I'm like, it's not how you do it. But I could pick that up through the audit logging and say, yep, we don't do it that way. Two-factor authentication we'll come back to, and the rest of this I'll come back to in just a moment. Okay, so back to the top. Now here in the left-hand column, we're just going to go through the options. So this is the dashboard. Recommendations. This is where you would need to start. You'll see under recommendations, it's got 2 recommendations. It says we've actioned 10. I haven't actioned 10. Oh, it must do it automatically. We'll come back to that. It does it automatically. Fantastic. So the security recommendations that are left to do that you need to weigh in on. Disable the file editor. Now what that means is, here under appearance, plugins, let me just go to install plugins. Okay, so disable the file editor. That's suggesting that you disable the file editor within WordPress. I would recommend as a starter, you disable it. If we need to re-enable it, we can, but as a starter, I'd recommend you disable it. Prevent information disclosure. So if you actually click on these, I should have shown you that. If you click on it, it actually tells you what it means. So under prevent information disclosure, often servers are incorrectly configured and can allow an attacker to get access to sensitive files like your config.ht access and backup files. Hackers can grab these files and use them to gain access to your website. By enabling by preventing information disclosure, got to stop clicking, Charlie, you will minimize that. So what I'd recommend you do is you click on it, comes down here, it says update HT access file. Just make sure you do that. So that one's active. We'll just come down, disable the file editor. We'll say disable the file editor. They're done. What else was actioned when this installed? So disable XML RPC. Make sure that the ability to post content remotely from your site to your site is disabled. Sometimes you want to do that if you're using some functionality. As standard, disable it. If you need to re-enable it, you can. Look, there's all these things that it does just while it installs. It's fantastic. It works really well. Okay. Malware scanning. So malware scanning will show you a list of potentially harmful files uh, that could be suspicious. In a lot of cases, the scan will pick up harmless files, but in some cases, you may wish to remove files that look suspicious. So it will go and look for files that shouldn't be in the WordPress file structure. In this case, I've got a backup file folder. That's where I take backups of the site and throw it while I'm doing these demos. So I'm going to leave the backup folder there. But if I did want to delete it, I could just click the button there, and under bulk actions, say delete. In this case, I'm going to say ignore it. So when it scans again, and click apply. So when it scans again, it's going to know that I've basically whitelisted the backup folder and said it's okay. Let's just go back. Now, this is where the scanning comes in, and the upgrade to Pro is really cool. It will look at the vulnerability and suspicious files. When I upgrade to Pro, we'll rerun the scan, and you can see what it looks like. If you want to check and make sure you've done everything right at this point, you can click the new scan button, and it will run the scan. Now, it might take a little while to run the scan, and sometimes you might need to make some changes to the memory allocation for the site, but in this case, we're good. Okay. And it's telling me that everything is fine. And now, under malware scanning, you'll see, I like the layout here. It tells you when the last scan was and the date and time, what it was, and what's outstanding, and it tells you what's enabled. If you come down to settings here, scan file types, file change detection, it'll look for the core files and it will look in the plugin files. When you've got Pro enabled, you can include or exclude the rest of it. It asks you to indicate a minimum file size, so it's got to be 10 megabytes or bigger for it to be scanned. Up to you. You can drop that lower or you can drop it higher. Audit logging we don't get access to because we need Pro, so we'll come back to that. Firewalls. Let's have a look at the firewalls. So I've got a couple of things configured with the firewalls. First of all, let's look at the status at the top here. 57.1 thousand malicious IPs are being blocked using the global firewall. I think that's fantastic. So what that does is that's looking at a whole heap of databases out on the internet, and it's looking for what IP addresses are being flagged as malicious, and it's going to protect us immediately. So they're basically going to hit the site and go, no, we don't want to see you, and you're being blocked. They're being blocked out. There is a local firewall that runs on, so this is running on WPMU dev hardware. This local one runs on ours. We haven't had any traffic, so it's not blocked to anything yet. It tells you what's active, and it's telling you that there's been 0 login lockouts, 0 404 lockouts, and 0 user agent lockouts. We're going to go through those in 30 seconds or so. Okay, block list checker. If you can check if an IP is listed in the anti-bot or other block list. If you find this and you wish to allow it, you can add it to your site's allow list. So what this means is if someone's contacted you and said, your site keeps blocking me, why does it keep blocking me? You can get their IP address. You can go here and you can put it in here and say, oh yeah, you're being blocked. And then we can add it to the whitelist and allow, and it will allow it through. You click on here to get to the allow list, and you just put the under IP addresses, paste your IP address, go to allow list, paste the IP address in, and come down the bottom and click save. Okay. Okay. That's that screen. Local block list. So this is basically where we were. You can blacklist or whitelist IP addresses. I would recommend, it says here, we recommend you adding your IP to the allow list. This has picked up my IPv6. Check how we detect your IP address. You can just paste that copy, go to allow list, paste it, get rid of the spaces at the back, and get rid of that dot. That's the period. And that will whitelist your IP address. Now, I do have to point out here that most of us in Australia are on dynamic IP addresses. What that means is that IP address will change as we log in and out of the internet on a daily basis. So whitelisting our IP address has minimal value to us, but for the day, it's probably worthwhile doing it, especially while you're doing this sort of setup. You can also scroll down here and have a look at what has been actively locked out. And yeah, you can have a look at the rest of this, but honestly, they're the things that you want to worry about first of all. Login protection. So this is you may have heard of this as login lockout. This is if someone tries to randomly guess a login, the credentials, the username or password. Defender will lock out users after a set number of failed attempts. Really handy to have. On my hosting, I also have server level login lockout. So I don't tend to use this on my Defender installs because I don't want them competing. My server, if you try to log in too many times, it just blocks you entirely. You can't even get access to the server. However, if you don't have that ability on your hosting, where your site is hosted, this is a fantastic option. 5 failed logins within 300 seconds. Okay, so within 300 seconds, 5 minutes. If someone tries to log in 5 times on from the one IP address and fails 5 times within 5 minutes, they're going to trigger this login lockout. They're going to get a temporary lockout for 5 minutes, or you can make it permanent, and they will never be able to access and try to log in again. Typically, unless we're having real hassles, I do leave it at 5 minutes. I might up it. Very occasionally do I go to permanent on these settings. You will get a message. If you've been locked out, you're going to get a message that says you've been locked out due to too many invalid login attempts. What does this say? Right, banned username. So if anyone tries to access a username that appears in this list, right, it doesn't come pre-populated, they will automatically be locked out and banned from the site based on your ban settings at the top there. We really, really recommend that you never set up a website and use the username admin. Admin is just too easy to guess. And it's a standard that things that get used. So what I'd recommend is you put admin in there. Don't use admin on your usernames, and put admin in there to lock them out. Okay, firewall, audit logging. We're not going to do WAF because, yep, two-factor authentication. Okay. I've spoken previously about two-factor authentication. It's something you have and something you know. The security is something you know and something you have. Two-factor authentication allows you to install an app on your phone or use your email or your SMS. And when you go to log in, two-factor authentication will say, oh, you've got this set. Give me the key that we've either just emailed, SMS'd you, or appears on your authentication app on your phone. I highly recommend that you activate two-factor authentication on your website. So let's go through and do it here. Let's say activate. It drops us into the activation. And what this allows us to do is choose which roles have to use two-factor authentication or can use. This one is can use two-factor authentication. All roles can use it. You can turn off different roles. You can turn them on. At the very least, I recommend editor and administrator. It's certainly worthwhile doing the others as well. You can force people to use two-factor authentication. For now, I'm not going to set it to force it, but if you force it and they log in, it's going to say you must set up two-factor authentication. Let's do that now. And the app title is, this is what's going to appear in the Authenticator app screen. So demo, what I'm going to say here is ACL demo. So when I look at it on the Authenticator screen, the title will be ACL demo, and it'll give me the code to go with it. Customize the default copy, so you can actually edit the email that goes out to your users with a one-time code if they don't use the app. Just go in, make sure you use your tags properly. Download, which app download do you want them to use? Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, or Authy. Google Authenticator is okay. I actually use a different authenticator altogether, but they're all pretty much the same. If you're running WooCommerce, you can actually enforce two-factor authentication on your WooCommerce account pages as well. And you can look when people start enabling it, you can have a look at who's enabled two-factor authentication on their account. Click Save Changes. Okay, tools. I don't worry too much about this, but one recommendation that really comes highly recommended is that you change the WP admin to something else. So mask login area, that's what that means. If I click on activate, I can now give my login area a new slug. Now the slug that you give it, the link that you give it should be something obscure. So green frog. So now if I want to log in, once I save this, I'm going to go to mysite.com/green-frog to log in. I'm not going to actually set this because I'm knowing my luck, I'll forget it when we finish this tutorial and they'll be wondering why I can't get into my site. But this is how you mask the login area. It's really handy. What's the other options here? Send visitors and bots who try to visit the default login to a separate URL to avoid 404s. So you can send it to a custom redirect page. In this case, okay. I've only got sample page, but you can have a page configured for redirects. So if they try to get to WP-admin and you've enabled the mask, if they go to WP-admin, they'll be sent somewhere else, or you can send them to a custom URL, maybe like a Rickroll link where you can Rickroll them. I wouldn't recommend it. If you're going to do this and you've made your changes, click Save Changes. Security headers are quite cool. These aren't enabled by as standard. I would recommend going through and enabling all of these. And to enable them, you just click them and leave them as defaults, but definitely enable them. It gives you just that extra level. Now this one says strict protocol. Click the 2 underneath it. Browser caching, 30 days, that's fine. I'm not going to go through what they all mean. Just understand that it's an extra level of protection. This is all good. Click Save Changes. So this is what you get with the base level of the plugin. You get so much protection already. Password rules, you can, okay, there's a couple of things you can do. First of all, you can set this up. I'm going to go down to the one that's highlighted to enforce strong passwords. Up to you if you do it. I'd recommend you do it. My general statement is it's a pain in the neck to do it. So up to you. But if you want to enable strong passwords, you click the button. It asks you which roles. So it automatically enforces it on admin once you do it, but you can also enforce it on the other roles on the website, and you can customize the message. And you can say you're required to change your password because your password doesn't meet strong password guidelines set by the administrator. I'm going to turn that off for now. The other one is pwned passwords. This is so there are databases out there on the internet that say these passwords appear in lists that have been gathered from compromised sites. You can stop your users using passwords that appear on those lists. You can, once you've enabled it, you can define which roles get access to that and what the message is. And finally, I'm going to turn that off. If you need to, you can force users. Let's just go back. I won't click on that. You can force users to reset their password when they log in next time. If you click on force password, reset password, you can say all user roles, you're required to change your password to a new one to use this site. So once you've done this and you say reset passwords, the next time someone logs in, they're going to be asked to change their password, or you can restrict it to whatever roles you want. I'm not going to enable any of those, so we're not going to hit change. I don't recommend using Google reCAPTCHA. The reason I don't recommend using Google reCAPTCHA is because I've got other ways of protecting your site from that. reCAPTCHA, whilst it's good, introduces a whole heap of other issues. If you go back a couple of podcasts episodes, you'll see that I go through how to use zero spam and such to protect your login area as well. Notifications. So notice that, yeah, we've still got a lot of things here that are in Pro, but we can still get a lot of things. We can still get things out of the system. These are emails that are going to be sent out to you based on what the various functionalities do. So security recommendations notification, get an email if or when a security recommendation needs fixing. Malware scanning notification, get email notifications when Defender has finished a manual malware scan. And firewall notification, get an email when the user or IP locked out for trying to access your login area. Under the Pro version, which we will get to, malware scanning reporting, automatically run regular scans and email you the reports. So this one, the notification, because you've got the free version, I'd recommend that you enable at least these top two. So we're going to tick them and say enable and click apply. When we do that, it says who do we want to send it to? It'll send it to me. Yep, come down, configure notifications. Each notification has a unique setting that can be configured below. So security recommendations. When do you want to send it? Do you want to send it daily, weekly, or monthly? Oh, look, I wouldn't recommend you do it daily. I'd recommend getting weekly notifications and malware notifications scanning. Send notifications when no issues are detected. So if no issues are detected, you're not going to get a notification. Send notifications when a Defender couldn't scan the files. Absolutely. You need to know whether it's not running or hasn't been able to run. Email report templates when an issue is found. This is what the templates look like. So you can modify the templates slightly. And click Save Changes. Okay, so they're now they're configured to go. That's who's going to receive them, and this is when it will run. Now, this doesn't have a schedule because this runs on a manual scan. All right. These are the options that you can have with Pro notifications. This is the one that I like the best, the manual scanning, malware scanning, reporting. Automatically run regular scans and email you the report. So you can run the scans automatically. You can then have it email you the reports. Firewall reporting, configure Defender to automatically email you a lockout report for this website, and audit reporting, automatically email you a summary of all your website events. We'll come into those when we get to Pro, but that's the upgrade on that reporting. Settings, let's just go quickly through settings. I think we're right here. So usage tracking, you can always turn usage tracking off. Remember what I said at the beginning, we turn usage tracking off. Don't worry about the configs. Don't worry. Yep, we're all good. So that's the basic version of WPMU Dev, WP Defender by WPMU Dev. I am just going to pause this video and do the upgrade on this to bring it up to Pro, and I'm going to show you the extra bits you get with Pro. Okay, so welcome back. Once you've upgraded your account, it'll go through a few things and then it will automatically upgrade your Defender Pro to your Defender to Defender Pro. And you'll see here in my menu are now Defender Pro. And you'll notice that all of the Pro tags have been removed. So let's go through the things that we wanted to look at. Malware scanning. This is the big one. You'll see now we've got a quarantined option. Under quarantined, it says here's the list of files you've chosen to quarantine. These files will automatically be deleted. You can update this duration in settings. So now you'll notice that we're getting now, it'll look for known vulnerabilities and suspicious code when it scans as well. I'm just trying to see where that was. I'm trying to remind myself where that was. Oh, here we go, here. So malware scanning, known vulnerabilities and suspicious code. They're all now there. It will automatically do it for us. Audit logging. We can enable audit logging to track each log event. I highly recommend, if only for, well, no, for the vulnerability scanning and the event logs, the audit logging, it is totally worth the upgrade. Let's just go to settings and have a look at that. We can store things for 6 months, 12 months, 3 months, 30 days. I leave it at 6 months unless I've got a lot of activity on the site, and then I reduce it down. Just remember that log files do take space on your site, so having them cleared after a reasonable amount of time is a good practice. Event logs, and not that we're going to see much here. Let me go and give you a demonstration. What we're going to do is we're going to add a new plugin. I just install Gutenberg. It doesn't matter at this point. Wait for that to install. Click activate. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm just going to refresh the event logs, and you will see here in the event logs, it says that the user activated the plugin, the user installed the plugin. There is some really nice filter functions here. So over here under the filter, you can look for you can set the date that you're searching for. You can set the username. You can set an IP address. You can look at all the activities. You can set specific types, user activities, system activities, comments, media settings, content menu. You can get really granular because event logs can get quite large. Just turn the filter off. That's what I'm looking for. Event logs can get quite large. So that is because of that, being able to do that level of granularity and filtering is really important. But honestly, for audit logging, I think this is fantastic. Like I said, I was able to find a training issue and resolve a training issue by using the audit log. Firewall, have we got any extras on Firewall? Login protection, local block list, no, this is all good. This is all standard. Oh, we didn't do 404 detection or user agent. I kind of jumped over it, didn't I? 404 detection or user agent banning. 404 detection, we did login protection. So similar to login protection, if someone tries to hit a file that doesn't exist 20 times in 5 minutes, they're going to get, in this case, a 5-minute temporary ban. You can certainly make it permanent. Now, I'm hearing you all say, why would you do that? Because one of the techniques that hackers use, that bots use to find vulnerable files, is they have a list of files that they know have vulnerabilities in them. wplogin.php, Magento sites have the same, Drupal sites have the same. And what they do is they walk through the sites electronically, digitally, and look for these files and see if these files exist so that they can try and hack them. That if those files don't exist, it generates a 404 error. Because these are automated attacks, they hit those files really, really quickly. So this 2404 hits in 5 minutes. That's pretty cool. That's likely to trip them up. I have had it, however, where someone's upgraded a site and they've deleted a whole heap of images or something. That trips it up too. So be really careful using 404 detection. You can block or whitelist particular files or folders. So if you know that you've got a folder that people are trying to hit and you've deleted it, you can just whitelist that folder and say, just ignore it. It's fine. If they try to hit that folder, I don't want them blocked because of it. You can actually say don't. At the moment, if you're a logged in user and you're hitting you're hitting files that don't exist, you're not going to get blocked. But you can make it monitor for missing files from logged in users as well. So that's your 404 detection. User agent banning. There are malicious bots and user agents that can access your website. So these are the ones typically that go through and look for your 404 and such. I wouldn't actually recommend blocking the SEMrush bot. They do, a lot of these actually are good for SEO. However, they can add a lot of load to your site, which is why you might want to block them. But you can, if you know you're getting hit by a particular type of bot, you can put their user agent in there. You will need your developer to help you with that, or your techie person to help you with that, to work out what the bot agent is, but it can absolutely be done. Empty headers, leave this off unless you know you've really got a problem with it, but sometimes referrer and user agent headers are left blank because they're bots and they don't fill them in. You can block IP addresses with those referrer and user agent headers. I've certainly had to use that previously as well. Okay, that's your user agent. What is logs? And if you're having trouble and you're trying to work out what's going on, it does keep logs for you, so you can go back through and have a look at what's getting blocked and why it's getting blocked. Two-factor we've done. Tools. We've done notifications. That's the one we were going through. So under notifications, this is where this is extra benefit comes in. Under notifications, you can now have an email when a user is locked out for trying to. Nope, we had that one. We had. Must have been this one. Malware scanning and reporting. Automatically run regular scans on your website and email you reports. So this one, we're going to CIS Plus. Let's just activate the feature. So this has taken us up to malware scanning, the settings, file change type detection, looking at core and plugin. It's now looking at known vulnerabilities. It's now looking at suspicious code. Highly recommend you put those on. Look, it's going to pick up a number of false positives. I would rather it pick up the false positives and us exclude them manually than not know at all. Scheduled scanning, enabled scheduled scanning. Yes, we want this to scan. We want this to scan. You can do it daily, monthly, weekly, or monthly. Set it to weekly to begin with. If you've got a really busy site, you might want to set it to daily. 10 megabyte files and quarantine settings for 30 days. I'm going to say save. And now if I go back down to notifications, now that we've got audit logging, you see how it's pulled up here? We can enable it. How often do we want to get the report? Weekly is more than enough, probably. Who do you want to get the report? And that's it. Click Save Changes. Now we've got 3 reports coming out to us. Just be careful. I'll come back to that shortly. Okay, that is WPMU Dev and WPMU Dev Pro. All right, that was kind of intense, I think. Hopefully it was useful to you. Hopefully you see that why upgrading to the Pro version is good, why you want to. I sometimes don't recommend upgrading to Pro versions of things, mostly because doing so, it's not needed. What the Pro versions give you, they're nice, but they're not necessary. With this version of the security plugin, I love what I get in the Pro version of it. It has saved me any number of times. So there's some options for you. As I said to you, it's not the only security plugin out there. It's not the only one that people recommend. I know that people will recommend others and say, oh, don't use that one, it's no good. The only thing that I recommend to you is that you use a plugin from a reputable provider and a reputable developer. Please don't just go to the repository and say, oh, that one looks okay, we'll use it. We've seen plugins being compromised through the library. It's not the developer's fault necessarily, it just happens. But if you've got a reputable provider, a reputable developer, they're normally on it and they're normally keeping it updated and making sure that if it does get compromised, it gets fixed very quickly. I do have in the show notes a referral link for WPMU Dev. There is any number of things that it offers you. I will end up going through them all. Yes, last time, couple of episodes ago, I did Smoosh and Smoosh Pro, Defender and Defender Pro. They all come from the same plugin house, same developers, and I highly recommend them. However, the referral link is in the show notes. I do get a small commission for any referral I make, and I'm very grateful if you do use that. If you don't, that's okay too. Was this video useful to you? If it was, please give it a like. That would be fantastic. If you've got any questions, you can leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video, or come across to my locals community, askcharlylethem.locals.com. Happy to have a chat to you. I know that some of these get a little bit in depth and they can be quite eye-glazingly boring at times. I try not to make them too boring. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. And guys, I will see you all tomorrow. Be safe out there. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlylethem.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.